here. So good to see you. I can't wait to start doing my next lesson with you, which is actually going to take a couple weeks, and we're going to learn how to do some drawing, some form drawing it's called. And I actually had you start doing this a little bit when you did your first assignment for the first week that we did remote learning, which was drawing your still life with some objects around the house. And you made those objects look very real with some simple shapes, but we're going to learn now how to take those shapes and make it look a little bit more realistic and make them look 3D. Remember, a 3D drawing is actually called a form drawing, and that's what I'm going to be showing you next.
Okay, so hi boys and girls, let's start doing some form drawing. Well, the first thing that we need to do when we want to turn this into a form is we actually start with our shape. So what I want you to do is take your paper and I want you to make a little column. I want you to take it like this, fold it, and then open it up. So on this part here, all you need is a narrow column because this is the part where we're going to draw our shapes. So you can label that at the top, shapes. And remember, shapes are flat, they are two-dimensional. On the other side of the paper, the bigger part, this is where we're going to be doing more of our drawing. This is where we're going to put our forms. So on this side of the paper at the top, I want you to write forms. And forms are three-dimensional. So the first shape that we are going to start with is going to be our circle. So right here at the top, I want you to draw your circle. And remember, we never really go around in one full motion. You'll never really get a perfect circle unless you have lots of practice at it. So I want you to make your letter C curve and stop, go back up to the top and make a backward C curve. That's how you get more of a perfect circle because you're doing two short curved lines and you have more control. We can also label this circle. Now, what you're going to do over here, put the arrow, and we're going to take our circle, and the form that it gets changed into is going to be a sphere. So again, in order to draw a sphere, we have to actually start with the circle. So again, make your letter C curve, go back up to the top, do your backward C curve, and it looks exactly the same. So how are we going to turn this into a sphere? Well, a sphere is like a ball or the globe. It's round. So in order to make a circle look round on a flat piece of paper, we do something called shading or value. So with that, you're going to just take your pencil and you're going to go on one side and in a curved direction, you're going to add some shadow on one side. One side has light coming in, it'll be lighter, and on the other side, we'll create that shadow. So you can go in a curved direction as if it were going around a ball or around the sphere. And it could be darker on one side, but as it comes around here, it would be a little bit lighter. You can also take your finger and you can rub it. You could blend it to make it look a little bit softer, a softer gray. Go in a circular direction like so. Rub it. Don't rub it too hard. And you don't want to make it look like an Oreo cookie. I always tell my students in class, don't make it look like an Oreo cookie where it looks split in half of black and white. You want it to have that gray in between. And this will make your circle now look more round. And if you go outside, if you rub outside the lines, that's okay. You can go back and erase. And now you have your circle that turned into a sphere. So let's label that. And that's your 3D form. Our next 3D form that we're going to be making is going to actually start with our triangle. And the triangle, again, will go on the shape side, and we're going to put it right underneath. Now, don't squish it. You don't have to put it up too high. We have all this room. We're only going to be doing 4 shapes. So the next one is our triangle. So I make my diagonal line, diagonal, and come across with a horizontal. I'm going to label that my triangle. Put my arrow. Because a triangle, it's actually going to get turned into 2 different forms. So the first form that a triangle gets turned into It's going to be a cone, like those orange cones that you see out on the street sometimes, or even like an ice cream cone. The cone starts off the same way as the triangle sides with diagonal lines. So I'm going to make my diagonal. But now my bottom is not horizontal. It's not going to go straight across. In order for it to be a cone, it's actually round at the bottom. So I'm going to make an up curve. Now, I'm going to make it look solid. So again, I'm going to need to use some shadow, some value, some shading. And it's going to follow the bottom line. So my bottom line was a curve. So I'm going to start on one side and I'm going to bring it around in a curved direction, kind of like a happy face curve. It follows the form. So I go around, and as I work my way up to the top, my shadow gets a little bit smaller. I could go back, I can make it a little bit darker on one side. I drag it through the middle so I have my lighter grays. And then it's light on the other side. You want to go back and blend it a little bit with your finger. You can rub it in that curved direction. And now we have our cone. That is our 3D form that starts with our triangle and gets turned into a round cone. The other form that could be made by using a triangle is going to be a pyramid. So when we make our pyramid, we are going to use the actual triangle. I'm going to make my diagonal, and come across with my horizontal. Now, a pyramid has a side to it. It's not round, it has a straight bottom, and what I need to do is go from this bottom corner here, and I'm going to make the side, which is going to be a short little diagonal. I like to cover this up when I'm in class, and I say, doesn't that look like a V? That's how you know you made the perfect diagonal for the bottom. Now, a pyramid does not get extended at the top. We actually just start at the top itself, at the point, and then we make another diagonal line coming down to touch that bottom. This is now our pyramid. I still want to make it look a little bit more real, so I'm going to add, once again, my shadow, except this time it doesn't go in a curved direction. This time, it's going to come straight across because that was my bottom line. Your shadow follows whatever the bottom line is. So I'm going to come straight across horizontal. Again, as I work my way up, it gets shorter at the top. I'm going to extend it a little bit more to my middle. And I can go on a diagonal to blend it in. I can go and rub it very gently. Remember, try not to do it too small so you don't rub it outside of the lines. Now, when I go to do the side, if my light is coming in and hitting it from the left side, then I would have more of a shadow on the right side. The light is not hitting that part. So I'm going to make my shadow go on my diagonal because that was the bottom line over here. And I'm going to work my way up the side of the pyramid, like so. And it could be a little bit darker. I could rub it and blend it. If I go outside, I will erase to make it look nice and neat. And now, this is my pyramid. Okay, so for this week, I want you to make your sphere, your cone, and your pyramid. Have your paper look the same way mine does right now, and send me that email. I want to see all of your beautiful form drawings. Great job, everyone.